Kilowatt 3, Kilowatt Delta X-ray.
Kilowatt Delta X-ray, roger. What's the name there?
Kilowatt Delta X-ray, roger. What's the name there? The name here is Ken, Kilo Echo November.
Roger, Ken, and whereabouts are you located, sir?
Roger, Ken, and whereabouts are you located, sir? I'm right at the Mason-Dixon line in Maryland.
Roger, roger. And Ken, what radio are you running today, sir?
Roger, roger. And Ken, what radio are you running today, sir? I'm running a 7300 into a Heil microphone with 100 watts and a DX Commander vertical antenna.
Yes, sir. Ken, well, if you'd be interested in our setup procedure, it starts with you checking to verify that you're in that wide transmit band pass of 100 to 2900. That's what we recommend for that radio will be the best setting for maximum performance, and that's 100 to 2900. Roger, roger.
Maximum performance, and that's 100 to 2900. Roger, roger. Roger, roger. I am in that, and let's see what else I have here. I have compression only at 1 and mic gain down to 45%.
Roger, roger. Okay, part of our setup procedure starts with you engaging your compressor at a 3. That's a token amount. You'll never hear it on the air, but it helps us achieve our 3 dB dynamic range at the end of the setup. And we go from a 10 dB dynamic range transmitter to a 3 dB dynamic range transmitter, and one from 30% modulation to between 80 and 85%. Starts with the compressor engaged at a 3, Roger?
85%. Starts with the compressor engaged at a 3, Roger? Roger, compressor is now at a 3.
Yes, sir. Now we move to the ALC with mic gain in hand. And as you say the magic word audio, don't stress it, but just say it as you would say any other word in a QSO. Audio, stretch it out, and adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is running 2/3. Roger?
Adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is running 2/3. Roger? Roger.
Did you get it there? You want to try again?
Okay, done. Did you get it there? You want to try again? Sure, I will try again. I'm just about 2/3 peaking at a little less than 100.
Roger, roger. Well, we're looking for that 2/3 on the ALC. That's beautiful. That will give you a 3 dB dynamic range and an 80 to 85% of average peak modulation. Now, let's move to your equalization page, if you would.
Now, let's move to your equalization page, if you would. Okay, give me 1 second.
That's in settings.
Okay, I am there. That's in settings.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We doubled a little bit there. Got a little latency on my SDR. Anyway, what we want is 2 clicks boost treble EQ from where you are, plus 2 clicks treble EQ boost from where you are at the moment.
You are, plus 2 clicks treble EQ boost from where you are at the moment. Okay, that is 2 clicks from where I was.
All right, sir, and I want you to tell me in 10 seconds or so about the best thing you like about your radio, sir.
10 seconds or so about the best thing you like about your radio, sir. Well, I love the filtering on the 7300, and I like the audio quality on the 7300.
All right, Ken, and what is your setting on treble EQ right at the moment?
All right, Ken, and what is your setting on treble EQ right at the moment? At the moment, my treble is at +5.
Ah, you're maxed out there. Well, tell you what, let's take 1 click back on the bass line. 1 click back on the bass. Roll the bass 1 click, and let me hear you that way.
Roll the bass 1 click, and let me hear you that way. Okay, I've taken the bass back one click, and it is at 0. Treble is at +5.
Yes, sir. I think that's just great there. And so why don't you give me about 10 or 15 seconds? I want to get a good recording here now. You're sounding so good. Tell me about the best thing you like about ham radio.
Sounding so good. Tell me about the best thing you like about ham radio. Well, let's see. I started many, many years ago with an interest in radio. Never got my ticket. I finally hit a magical birthday and said, I'm finally going to do it. So I went and took my tests and got my ticket. It is I've had for a lifetime.
Roger. So you're running 100 watts, is that a Roger?
Roger. So you're running 100 watts, is that a Roger? Roger, 100 watts into a vertical antenna.
Yes, sir. I just checked down in Georgia, and you were there, but maybe about only 2 dB or so. So I was thinking maybe you sounded so good on Milford, I thought you might be running a little bit of power, but that's a really good signal, Roger.
Be running a little bit of power, but that's a really good signal, Roger. Roger. Well, thank you. Again, the antenna, the DX Commander, is pretty instead of all the other. I use that pretty much instead of all the other antennas.
Roger. I'm just curious now. You know, you're vertical. I sure wish that at some point you could do maybe a dipole, horizontal dipole, and get you an AB switch, so you can switch back and forth. Then it would be the best of both worlds. Because even in a QSO, sometimes transmissions change phase and go vertical. And if you're locked on that horizontal or locked on that vertical and it goes horizontal, you're going to miss some. But if you have a selector there and you have both vertical and horizontal, you have some good options, Roger.
And you have both vertical and horizontal. You have some good options, Roger. Roger. That is my intent, and I have an off-center fed dipole. Unfortunately, I do not have it hooked up at the moment. I have an OCS about 90-some feet. That is my goal, is to get an AB switch and to be able to switch between the two. Roger?
Yes, sir. And be sure when you do that you label very clearly the leads going into that switch, so you know exactly what you're doing, because that some folks, if they have an option of this or that, they choose the wrong one at the wrong time. So I've always found that labeling cables, particularly going into a switch, is very important, Roger.
Cables, particularly going into a switch, is very important, Roger. Roger. And what I've, just as an FYI, what I do utilize is I have a loop antenna that I use for receive, and I run that into my SDR on my computer. And so I can receive on the loop and have a rotator on that for receive, but that certainly does not help me at all on the TX side. Roger?
Yes, sir. Now, and FYI, I've conducted many tests with my horizontal dipole versus my 10-foot vertical magnetic loops, and all the time, almost 99% of the time, the dipole went out over the loop. And like I say, these are large 10-foot vertical magnetic loops, but the dipole is usually a 2 or 3 dB hotter than the loops. And the other thing is, if maybe with 100 watts it's not that important, but if you're using 2 antennas, you should always put a mute on that second antenna, so when you're in transmit, that second receive antenna is not pulling juice into your radio, Roger.
That second receive antenna is not pulling juice into your radio, Roger. Roger. Great advice. Well, look, thank you for the help. I do appreciate it, and I'll let some others get in here and pick your brain a little bit, and hopefully we can chat again sometime. Thanks again, 73K3KDX.
Roger, Roger. Ken-73 there, sir. And if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word highlight, it'll take you to our Qso-Vlog page, and this will be cut number 1 in a series of 2,300 Qso-Vlog aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. So 73 Ken, have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.